The Tournament of Power is a little under 40 hours away, with Goku setting up shop and looking to recruit the strongest warriors to carry Universe 7 in victory, but along the way, Goku and the gang are taken by surprise as a new member joins the family as Bulma gives birth to Bra, with Vegeta having to nurture his newborn baby girl. What's going on, Dragon Ball fans? Welcome to my Dragon Ball Super episode 83 review, entitled From the Universe 7 Representing Team, Who Are the Strongest 10, leading into Dragon Ball Super episode number 84, which will indeed be a very interesting episode as Goku looks to complete the Universe 7 roster in recruiting all 10 members for his team, in which basically starts off in this particular episode. Now, a quick plug before we begin, in case you guys are not following me at Twitter, be sure to go ahead and follow me at Twitter at UnrealEntGaming for all the latest in Dragon Ball news, information, updates, and discussions, and also be sure to go ahead and subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications. That way you guys are notified whenever a Dragon Ball discussion, review, or gameplay video is posted on the channel. And of course, your feedback definitely helps improve the channel as well, so be sure to go ahead and subscribe for more content. Now, at long last, we finally get the birth of Bra and the introduction of Bra in Dragon Ball Super. And of course, for many other people who've been waiting to see Bra in the show, your wish has finally been granted as we see a very subtle Vegeta in this episode, legit a few days away from the Tournament of Power, and now we see Vegeta have a daughter be born. So what does that mean for him? Now, this episode kicks off exactly where we left off, with everyone having to make their way towards Earth as we see Chi-Chi prepare a giant feast for the celebration of Bulma's new child. And during the whole process, we see how Bulma is with Shu, Mai, and Pilaf, and she's doing some exercises. And during the whole process, we see how Vegeta says, "I better think of a name, something that benefits Saiyan royalty." So he's actually thinking of a name. And meanwhile, we see how Goten and Trunks are seen with Vegeta until he goes on ahead and sends him off to bed. And we see how even Chi-Chi confronts Gohan outside on his torn clothing, and while they're all eating, we see how they're discussing the overall tournament and recruiting 10 fighters. And what's really interesting to note is how Kaioshin says that ever since the destruction of planet Vegeta and planet Namek, that there are 28 planets left with Ningen all throughout Universe 7, which is very, very weird, because how does that make any sense? You know, 28 planets in the entire universe that have Ningen within it. So that in and of itself makes absolutely no sense. And we see how Beerus says that Monaka can't compete because he was brought up, and it's actually very fortunate that he said that Monaka isn't going to compete in this. And we see how Goku, you know, he helps out, he eats the food, but Beerus wants him to focus on finding strong competitors, and Goku's mind is just on food alone. And we see how Beerus is just very worried, he's sweaty, he's trying to convince Goku that we need to go out there and look for fighters. And during that whole conversation, we see little snippets of the other universe fighters. They're very blurry, it's very similar to the overall intro, but we see how overall Gohan thinks that Krillin won't be able to keep up with this fight, because we do understand that right now he is training, or at least he's fighting one of the trio of dangers in his mind, that being Basil. And what's really cool to see in this episode, I think, is how Goku and Gohan are both pretty much, you know, sitting together, and they're, you know, they're relaxed, they're meditating, and we see how Krillin is fighting Basil in his mind. So for those of you out there who thought that Basil was actually going to be in the episode, you were wrong. But of course, we finally got to see the solar flare at least, and I do think that the solar flare would be a technique very, very often used in this tournament, especially if you want to throw somebody off. So we see Krillin, he's unleashing these little blasts, and in his mind, he looks like he got Basil down, but Basil's still back up. So at least you have to give props to Krillin for actually envisioning himself having to fight this dude. And even then, Basil's unleashing these massive ki blasts with his feet, and at that very moment, we see how Krillin actually took the hit, which ultimately causes Goku and Gohan to snap out of it. So they're talking and discussing about Master Roshi, they're trying to figure things out, and Kaioshin actually said that he's gonna go out there and look for mortals on other planets to see if they can go on ahead and find other people. And we see how Hercule even suggests that maybe Android 17 and 18 may work, but then the question arises as to where Android 17 is, which I thought was really cool, because we do understand that between episodes 85 and 86 he will make an appearance. And we see how Beerus, during all of this, he's so stressed out. You can tell based on his demeanor, his attitude, the way he's speaking to people, and just his overall mannerisms are just off, because he's really desperate here, because he knows that, you know, after speaking to everyone about the other warriors, they kept stressing Goku and telling him, you need to find someone out there who can actually match up to our needs in surviving this, because if not, not, we're gonna be destroyed. So by the middle of the episode, we see how everyone else takes off, and we see how right then and there, Goku and Gohan explain the tournament to Vegeta, and Vegeta actually refuses at first because he wants to go on ahead and wait out for his baby, which I personally love because now we get to see the character development from Vegeta, and instead back in the day he always wanted to train, but now we see how he's trying to be more family oriented, and it's pretty cool how Vegeta just walks on by and they're talking to him very casually, and even Vegeta shouts at Beerus, you know, while Beerus insists on him participating. And what's funny is when Goku first approached him, Vegeta was so nonchalant about this, and I really do hope that based on Vegeta's mannerisms in this episode, that Vegeta also knows of a trick or two on how to save his own hiney when it comes down to him actually participating in this tournament. So we see how Gohan, Goku, Beerus, everyone's trying to talk to Vegeta about this, and he refuses. And we see how there's like a shouting contest because Vegeta wants no part of this. He obviously promised Bulma that he was going to be there for her pregnancy, so you have to understand where Vegeta is coming from. And the minute Vegeta refuses, it's like Beerus's face is like just in complete shock because he knows that he's in deep trouble. So, you know, there were certain animation spots where Beerus looked so miserable because he's trying to get other fighters. And again, this goes back to what Kaioshin said about the 28 planets, you know, only bearing Ningen and the others don't, which is so stupid because among millions and billions and trillions of stars and solar systems out there, you're only saying that 28 actually bear that of life. So Whis actually approaches Bulma, and we see how he uses his staff, and then all of a sudden, you know, and Bulma's very large, by the way, her stomach is huge, and we see how Whis walks on over and uses his staff to have Bra instantly born. And that is such a revelation because all of a sudden Bra appears in this little blanket, and Whis actually has the ability to allow someone to give birth early. That's the overall effect that he has, and we saw how everyone was peeking through the corner and everyone was shocked by this, including Vegeta. He was just like, you know, just dumbfounded as to what happened. But of course Whis knows that since Vegeta promised to be there for his daughter or for his baby, since he doesn't know, you know, he wanted to go ahead and do the birth quickly, so because they need Vegeta for this. So we see how Vegeta is standing by the corner, and Goku says that Bra doesn't really look like Vegeta, and we see how Gohan completely disagrees, which I found to be very funny because imagine taking Vegeta and Goku to Mori. Now wouldn't that be something? Now another thing that I found hilarious was how Yamcha showed up, and Yamcha was there to congratulate everyone on, you know, having a baby, and I found that to be very ironic. Actually, some of you guys may go back to the original Dragon Ball and notice, but either way, he was there to show his support. And even Hercule, once he got Bra in his hand, he's making all these ridiculous faces, and then she starts crying because, you know, she's terrified of the guy. And then we see how Gohan tells Trunks, after Trunks is there, that the baby's been born and now he's a big brother. And what's also interesting to note is the fact that Goku was the one to also hold Bra in his hand. When was the last time we ever saw Goku hold a baby before? We've never seen Gohan, you know, in his arms like that, or, you know, Goten. So he actually held, you know, Bra in his hands, which I found to be awesome. But what's funny here is the very minute Yamcha held the baby, Vegeta became a Super Saiyan Blue. He was pissed off to the max. Gohan, you know, after watching his brother and Trunks run around with the baby crib trying to, you know, assemble it and put, you know, figure out where to put it, we see him in his traditional gi. His gi is fixed up, so he's there, he's talking to Goten and Trunks, and Goten says if it's a boy, Trunks can actually train with him, and of course Gohan says, you know, it's a girl. And I gotta say, just like Pan, Bra was very adorable in this episode, and we see how Bulma offers Trunks to hold Bra, and he's a little hesitant at first, but Bulma actually insists because Trunks is looking at her, and this is the first time, you know, ever since future Trunks came back, you know, he had the role of being the little brother, but now he is indeed the bigger brother. So he's looking at Bra really weirdly, and even Vegeta's grilling him, which I found to be awesome. He's like the only one that's like away from everyone as everyone's surrounding the baby, because Vegeta's like, he's very tense for some reason. Either it's because Goku's there, Yamcha, Hercule. The guy just wants his privacy, but the whole time when Trunks was there with his mom, she insists for Trunks to actually hold her, and as he picks her up and holds her, it's really weird because like she looks like she's big, and he's looking at her, and then she opens up her eyes and she smiles at him, which I found to be very heartwarming. Again, This was a very heartwarming episode, and we see how the little baby's looking at him. She's laughing, Goku's behind him, they're all having a good time. But Yamcha was the funny one because he kept talking about the tournament and how he wants to play along too. And then Yamcha fantasizes about making a cool entrance. And you know, finally at long last, towards the very end of the episode, we see how Vegeta is holding bra, something that we haven't seen Vegeta do with Trunks, which I found to be very hilarious. But either way, they're all standing around, and Vegeta, you know, finally hears the name, and he's like, "Bra, what?" The guy's aggravated, but then as Goku's talking to Gohan, he leaves to go on ahead and try to recruit Krillin, and we see how, you know, Beerus is eating in the background. He's just gobbling up all the food. I mean, he knows for an absolute fact in his mind that this might be the very last time that he gets to enjoy this, but either way, Goku takes off, and we see how Yamcha the whole time he's there. Again, a very subtle episode. Once this actual subs come out on Crunchyroll.com, you guys can go on ahead and definitely read up on this, because this is an episode I think you guys really ought to focus on, because the entire time they were pretty much talking about recruiting people and trying to pick out who's what, and Yamcha having to be there and having to, you know, add his 2 cents into things, and Vegeta having to look at everyone like, what the heck is going on? And, you know, for Whis to stick his staff out and focus on Bulma's stomach and having to have her have an early birth was just epic, because Whis has these abilities in, you know, traveling back in time and allowing people to be born. And towards the end of the episode, we see how Vegeta is holding Bra in his hands and she's laughing. So I think that this episode is definitely going to make an impact on Vegeta, because we see as he's looking at Bra that he has this connection, but he doesn't want to be, you know, too mushy about it. But we see how Goku takes off at the very end. He's flying off, and then at the very, very end, we see how the tournament stage is still being constructed by the Daishinkan, in which it cuts off with Goku flying off in the distance, ready to round everyone up. So, but post your comments down below. What are your overall thoughts on this particular episode? Did you guys enjoy Vegeta having to cradle his daughter? What are your overall thoughts on the Tournament of Power? What are your overall thoughts on Goku having to recruit number 18 and Krillin in the next episode? And what are your overall thoughts looking forward as to what you guys believe Goku has hidden and using in the Tournament of Power? Thank you all for watching. As always, don't forget to go on ahead and tune back in for the breakdown review, as we will be discussing more of what happened in this episode, alongside talk about the episode preview and many other episodes to come. And alongside that, tomorrow we're going to be doing an open Dragon Ball Super episode discussion with the community. I'm going to go on ahead and link my Discord on my Twitter, so in case you guys are not following me at Twitter, be sure to follow me. That way tomorrow we're going to have an open discussion with the community on our thoughts on the episode alongside the future episodes. Thank you all for watching. If you guys are Dragon Ball fans, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for all the latest in Dragon Ball news, information, updates, and discussions. And if you guys enjoyed the episode and the review, go on ahead and slap a like on the video. Tune back in for more, and I'll be seeing each and every single one of you guys in the next Dragon Ball video. Take it easy, guys. Peace.